Give me 1 second. We'll go ahead and get started in just a second. Hold on 1 second. Alrighty. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect tonight's message. Among. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully this is better. I'm not sure. Are you able to hear me at this moment? Are you able to hear me now? Yes, no, maybe so. Are you able to hear me now? Yes, no, maybe so. On TikTok, can you hear me now? All right, okay. I had to go away from the vehicle. Bluetooth was in the vehicle. Sorry about that. All right. All right, okay. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of mine heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it is in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect tonight's message. Aman. Barak Shem Yahweh, Shabbat Shalom, Yahashira'al, especially if you leave use Saturday as your Shabbat. Anai, Kofi, headed at Servants of Christ, Mashalom Chi. Hello, everybody. I am Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice to the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. We appreciate you. Thank you for being on. Uh, I'm sorry, just coming out of Kung Fu class and I'm running around trying to make sure you guys can get the signal. Okay. Uh, Tonight we'll get right into it. We're already behind some now, so let's get right into it. Tonight we're going to talk about they build monsters. And hello to everybody, how you doing? We give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. As always, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. I can't. I'm sorry. I tried to. Okay. All right. Sorry. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me on TikTok? Can you guys hear me on TikTok? You know what? Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I guess let me go real quick. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I don't know. At this point, we're just gonna do the best we can. If you can't hear it, you'll just have to get the recording. I'm sorry. So if you can't hear it, I apologize. I'll try. So we'll try to get that together. So, anyways, for tonight, we'll just jump right into the building of monsters. They build monsters. And we need to recognize that monsters are built by the system. Now, they'll try to call you and I a monster because of our humanity. If you know how the law works, they try to tell us that we are monsters. But the reality is they build monsters. That's their specialty. Look at all the people that are loved in the history, and they're in his story, not our story, but in his story, right? Look at all the people that are built up for us to follow. These are people that do monstrous things, right? These are people that do extremely monstrous things and try to get you and I to go ahead and act like we're the problem, right? Um, Look at Napoleon. Everybody wants to be Napoleon. What was going on with him and his wife? Everybody wants to be Napoleon. How many people did he off? What's going on with Napoleon? Was he even French? Right? He does monstrous things, but the more monstrous things he does, the more we lift him up, right? Look up Thomas Jefferson. How many people does he have? How many of our sisters? How many of our ancestors? How many of our women did he have to go ahead and bid? And then we sit there and we say, but he's the father of our nation. He's not the father of my nation, right? But they build up monsters, and then we're supposed to support and relate and associate and put them up on high, right? Look up, uh, look up George Washington and how he's regarded as somebody who was great because he thought that it was fair to whip somebody to the point of death and whip her twice over because it was fair. Look up George Washington, how he rips the teeth out of his slaves' mouths. And then when you mention it, they say, oh no, we're only going to focus on the fifth set of dentures he had that were made out of ivory, right? Look up, look up all these people that they worship, that they want you to look up to. Look up how monstrous they are. They build monsters, and then we're supposed to support them. Then by law, right? You look up in law, they can call you a monster because you're a human being, right? They try to call you and I monsters because we decided to be human. We decided to tap into our humanity and be what the Most High said we should be. And because of that, we're monsters. Why? Because we tap into their system. You got to realize the monster that you're afraid of, right? When you cover yourself up to go to sleep, and you have that monster that's there, right? And you're trying to cover yourself up so that you can go to sleep. You got to recognize and realize that the same way that you're afraid of the boogeyman, they think you're the boogeyman. If you were to ever come into acknowledgement of who you are and who you're called to be, they would be they're afraid of you, right? um, I've never once in life, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and credit this. I believe the person got me thinking about this most recently is Cat Williams and all his going around and interviews he's been doing, right? And Cat Williams made a very valid point. He was asked, why is it that our people are always looking for a Messiah, and why is it that people are looking for him? He said, right, in the other diaspora, the other side is not looking for a Messiah. Cat Williams stops him and says, actually, the other side, right, the overseers, the manipulators, those with a Esau type spirit, right? He said those are the people who actually look for the Messiah more than anybody else. Right now, they were trying to say that basically Messiah for them, they were trying to equate that with, okay, hey, there's a Martin Luther King Jr., we need a Malcolm X, we need this. We're always looking for somebody to lead. But Cat Williams was saying, hey, and I'm not a Messiah, pastors aren't messiahs. That's not what I'm saying. Hopefully, get the context right. But Cat Williams making a point to say, hey, obviously, people on the other side, your enemies, are obviously highly invested in you finding some kind of leadership and coming together. He said the reason he said this, and think about this, he makes a valid point. He says, I don't pay attention to things that I don't like. He said, so if they hate us, right? If they hate us, why are they paying attention to us? Unless they realize the power that's in you. Now, agree or disagree with Cat's spiritual stances on a lot of different things, but he didn't tell no lies still, right? Your enemy, who declares you to be a monster, pays more attention to you than anybody else does. Your enemy is the one who told you that your woman was monstrous, and you believed him, and you treated her as such, right? You tried to treat her like something in a cage. Now that she's been released from the cage, she's acting like something that's been caged up her whole life, and you're mad. But we had a hand in that. We could have protected her. We could have given her security. We had a hand in that, but we decided that it was important to go ahead and view her as a monster. But see, they build monsters, including the ones that we make of ourselves. You got to realize the Most High wants you to be a human being, wants you to be a natural person. I'm using lawful terms. You might comprehend that I'm using lawful terms. You might not. But he wants us to be a natural person. He wants you to be somebody who is worthy of your vocation. He wants you to be somebody that causes change. And you got to recognize they're afraid of you more than you're afraid of them, right? And think about it, right? It's pests. And forgive me, I'm not trying to talk about all of one diaspora, one skin color, this and that. That's not where I'm going. But just roll with me for a second, right? Peep game. It's like a pest. Right? You ever get around? I don't know. It depends on where you live, right? But let's say you go to see a tarantula, or you not go to see one. But let's say you go somewhere there's a tarantula outside, and somebody will say, it's more afraid of you than you are of it. And you like, shoot, right? And you trying to do everything and you up against the wall and you're like, I don't want no parts of it. And don't they shoot hair? You can all of a sudden you can remember all these facts about it when you're in. But the reality is the tarantula like this. And the tarantula is afraid out of his mind. But we have it in us because it's something we're unfamiliar with that we can't. But the tarantula is not trying to come at you. Matter of fact, the tarantula will be happy if you leave it alone. Stay on the other side. But what do? We're afraid, but it's more afraid of you than it is of it. Matter of fact, let me not say tarantula. Let's go to something even smaller. People see a roach, right? Yeah, I'm not sure if a tarantula has ever killed anybody, right? Or taken somebody's life, excuse me, right? But you have to realize, right? Like, let's say it's a roach. Somebody will see a big roach. I'm talking about one of them New York roaches, right? I'm talking about one of them German hissing cockroaches, right? And you see it and you go, man, that's big. And even if it's like this, it's still small. And it's not trying to come at you, right? Now they can be aggressive for real, but they don't want, like, let's be honest, one roach versus one human being is not really trying to deal with you. Right now, but we go, because it's dirty, because we're afraid, we'll let one roach send us on top of chairs, and we'll tear the house up trying to get away from something. You see what I'm saying? Even if the roach wanted to fight you one-on-one, it can't win. A roach cannot beat you in a fight, right? It can't. But in our mind, right? I know you're just being silly, right? They are, but I agree with you. They are aggressive. But I'm just saying, even if you have an aggressive one, especially you talking about the Florida roaches. Florida roaches sometimes they a different breed. I wouldn't say they're worse than New York roaches, but Florida roaches are a different breed than New York roaches, right? But I'm just saying, right? You'll get some of you. You don't even need something that big. Some of you, the roaches like this, and you see it and you jump back. That thing is afraid of you. If you blow too hard, that thing will fly. If you accidentally put the tip of your finger on that little tiny thing, that thing its life is over. Right? It's more afraid of you than it is of it. But they built these people up in front of you. Even in that way, they built them up to be monsters. And so in your head, this little roach is a monster. Who is, I'm not trying to down anybody, but can I just be honest with you? Who is Napoleon to me? I'm not trying to down anybody. Who is Donald Trump to me? He's not a roach. I'm not putting them. I'm saying though, these people, like, why are we spending so much time, right? Sorry, I'm over near the Amtrak. Why are we spending so much time on things that aren't even on our level, right? When is the last time that the president of the United States changed anything about your life? Hear me and hear me well. No, you don't understand. Barack Obama, he made a law about black. Okay, was LGBTQ plus present before Barack Obama? Were there people in your family that were LGBTQ plus before? Why is it that that law made you lose your mind? You should have been prepared. You should have known that was coming. It shouldn't have caused you to start doing certain things that were different. Thank you for the love, appreciate it. Right, but we'll allow something that. When's the last time? Right, watch this. Voting season about to come up again, and they're gonna try to get you all hopped up on all this stuff. And it's gonna be the same thing. Biden versus Trump again. And here you're gonna be, and you're gonna be talking about Trump's a criminal and Biden's a criminal, and this and that or whatever. Whoever gets voted in, what's gonna change? Why are we making a mountain out of a molehill? Why are we allowing them to make these monsters in our life? We got stuff to do, SOC. We got food to grow. We got people to see. Yeah, it's the same dance every 4 years. We got stuff to do. We got people to call on the phone. We have places to travel. We got men's meeting, women's meeting, Shabbat Shalom service, Shabbat school for the children. I mean, we got stuff that's on the program. We got to get ready for when the children get out of school in the summertime and they don't go ahead and start homeschooling again with us. I mean, we got a plethora of things that are more important than whoever is in charge of the United States, because guess what? Quiet is kept. The president is not in charge of the United States. He's just the president. Somebody doesn't like that. He's just the president. The president of a corporation, because the United States is a corporation, the president of a corporation is not the CEO. Why are you looking at the president if he's the power behind the throne? The CEO doesn't necessarily mean they own the most stock. You're supposed to be capital in this corporation. People own the most stock, they own the most persons. Why are we acting like Trump or Obama or whomever? They work for the same seat. They're part of the same family. You know this, right? You know Trump, by marriage or not, all of them are in the same family. I hope you're aware of this, right? He said it's not even quiet, it's kept. Our votes don't count for anything. Government 101, electoral college. There you go. Right? And somebody else repeats same thing. Yeah. What are we losing our mind? Why are we making monsters? Forget mountains out of molehills. Why are we making monsters out of moles? It doesn't matter. They create monsters, right? They create the Vlad the Impalers, the Draculas. You know, Dracula's a real person, right? And Dracula did heinous things that are possibly more heinous than the stuff that you've read about in the book or seen in these movies. He's done stuff worse than that, right? He's done stuff way worse than any of that stuff that you can talk about. And yet, who built him? The Ottoman Empire, former Roman Empire, taking the Quran out of context, Ottoman Empire, right? Messing with him since he was a little boy, tearing his family up, making sure that they didn't even have really a wife. And they had so much stuff that incest and stuff was so common that people was crazy and out their mind. That's who they want you to go ahead and look at. That. Like, that's why they still worship Dracula to this day. They made him a monster, literally. The real story of Dracula, Dracul, right? Vlad the Impaler. His story is way worse than anything you've read in your little stuff, in the little movies and shows and stuff that you saw. He's way worse. Right? But at the end of the day, who was he? He was somebody that basically kept getting locked up. And basically somebody who had no power, and basically somebody who was dancing and went against the people who raised him. Off his own brother, or at least he tried to get to power on the throne, and then ended up having his brother pass away. Yeah, you said you have a Romanian friend who told you stories of the real Dracula. Yeah, stories such as, he impaled people. That's why it's called the Impaler. And he'd have him. Well, I won't be. I'll be nice. I won't be disgusting. Maybe it might be dinner time for some of you. But the real Vlad is something else, right? And you don't even have to embellish too much. There's some stuff about him that's embellished. You don't even have to embellish so much. Even the light-hearted stuff about Dracula, the real Dracula, right? But they built up these monsters. Look at their system. They built up. Who built up Adolf Hitler? Who made a person that was Austria-Hungary, who was a Jew, decide he was going to fight a German battle to make sure he offed his own family, literally offed his own family, to make sure that nobody realized that while he was talking about being blonde hair and blue-eyed and being anti-Jewish, that was Hitler's position. At the same time, while doing those things, he was a Jew himself, or Jewish himself. Who created that? Was that you? Right? Just be ready. When you're dealing with this system, you're dealing with people who are anti-you. Who created Joseph Stalin, who said that he read a book written in 1859, The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection or The Survival of Favored Races in the Struggle for Life, written by Charles Darwin. He said he read that book. So did Hitler. So did the Japanese. The Axis power, or actually, I'm sorry, one of them was actually your what do they call them? The Allied powers. One of the good guys. And they read that, and so did the enemy. And both said that's what caused them to be part of the biggest war. By the way, you know, and all this stuff they be trying to say the Bible caused more people to die and this and that, whatever, in their wars. No, that was evolution, baby. Japan, evolution. Mussolini, Italy, evolution. Joseph Stalin, Russia, evolution. Right? Germany, Hitler, evolution. That's where that came from. Stalin told him take down Christ and put his picture up in its stead. Adolf Hitler said throw away all Bibles and burn them. Mussolini, book burning as well. Japan, they didn't even worry about the Christianity thing. They were introduced to it, and then they said, no, we still gonna go ahead and go with what we do, and we're gonna go ahead and add you know, the Bible doesn't go with what we believe in. That helps us to be able to say we should beat the mess out of Korea and China and all these other places. But we do have something that we can use, evolution, that tells us we're better than everybody else. They build up these monsters because of their monstrous system. And then they want to tell you and I, they want to try and blame you and I, they want to try and tell us it's our fault, that we're bad, that we're terrible, that we're out of pocket. Look at your women and how they act. What did you do to our women? Now, this is where we have to take accountability, though, because we can't be mad at our sisters, because when does the security and affection come in? Sure, they ain't listening because they ain't been listened to for a long time. But start listening to them after a while, and they're going to have to show out. They're going to have to show their tail. There's going to have to be some more Glorillas out there. There's going to have to be some more versions of Little Kim and Nicki Minaj's and Foxy Browns and Sexy Reds and all. There's going to have to be more of them. But if you notice, there's a little backlash coming. Maybe the Sister Soldier will come back. And by the way, she was a firecracker too, but she was a lot better, right? You know, maybe there'll be some Dr. Francis Cress Welsons. There are some, by the way. We just don't look for them. We don't pay attention to them as much, right? We're more, even though we'll get on them, you know, but we're more apt to listen to a Dr. Umar Johnson or Brother Polite, right? We're more apt to listen to them. But there's some sisters out there that we should be listening to. I would say, starting even in SOC, we got some great ones, right? But at some point, we're going to have to let them talk, because somebody, as bad as you want to say they are, who created the monster? Who was the one that said, hey, you got to lay down and take it? You got to teach your daughter to lay down and take it. And you got to watch your man. The closest he'll come to you is basically jumping over a broom, and then we'll ship him somewhere where we find out that y'all got married. And then when she said, I don't trust the system and I don't trust the man, because the man has been somebody who's been brutalized and been told that he's nothing, no shade to him, but hey, I can do bad all by myself. Who did that to us? Right? So at some point, it's going to be on us. If they create monsters, we have to go ahead and give them the antidote, if you will. We got to have the silver bullet, but not the silver bullet that takes life, the silver bullet that takes the venom out of the cobra, so to speak. I know I'm all over the place with my analogies, but hopefully you're catching what I'm saying. We're going to have to be the ones to execute in this. We're going to have to be the ones to heal. Our brothers out here, who made them monstrous? Matter of fact, Who made your brother? Who is it that made sister? Think about this, sister. Who is it that had your brother, right, and did buck breaking with them? Then put him in prison after he buck broke him, right? Meanwhile, took away any kind of power that he had and called him boy. And then you're sitting there trying to figure out why you're still fighting against a certain mindset that seems to be sweeping over our nation. Who do you think did that? Do you think he did it to himself? To this day, do you think it's very African? I'm not saying there are no Africans that did, but do you think it's very African to be LGBTQ plus? Matter of fact, those who are LGBTQ plus normally have to learn it from somebody else. Normally, they learn it from the American side of the diaspora. Normally, they learn it from the European side of the diaspora. They don't learn it from themselves. They don't even have time for it. Matter of fact, there's so many countries still trying to get our countries over there to go ahead and bow down to it. And they keep telling them, no, you came to the wrong place. That's not a problem for us. They literally, right? Go watch interviews where these presidents and prime ministers are being interviewed and they try to ask them, well, what about LGBTQ plus? And then the people have to say, what is that? Because it's not even something that they're worried about. It's not enough of a concern. Even as shady as those people are, it's still not a concern for them to where they would change stuff up. Right? We got to ask ourselves, who created the monster? And if we know who created the monster, as I was saying earlier today, that we can't go to the monster or the one who creates monsters and say, hey, let's go ahead and make sure that we make everything all right. We can't do that anymore. What are you going to do? Who are you going to become? Who sent you to your family to be the difference? What are we going to do? And this is not something I'm giving an answer for tonight because we got to get on the road. This is something that I'm just asking the question, just being honest with you. What are we going to do to ensure that we're not going to allow this stuff to keep on happening? What are you going to do tonight before you go to sleep? What is the vision plan? What is the vision statement, the mission statement you're going to write upon the tablet of your heart or even above your bedroom door so that you see it when you walking in and walking out? What part can you play? There's no such thing as a small role in this because no matter how big or small, they're all as important. So really, there's no such thing as a minor role. You know how they try to lie to us and tell us that there's a minor prophet? How is Hosea minor and how is Isaiah major? Just because we have more writing from Isaiah, that doesn't mean he's better prophet than the other one. Same thing, your role is not better than anybody else's. We're all needed the same. What are you going to do to be a part of it? All right, I think I've talked enough. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I apologize. It took us a while to get rolling. Had to move a couple times and run around to make sure that we got the signal and the Bluetooth and all that together. That's my fault. I was too close to the vehicle, so I had to move away from it so y'all could hear me. So I apologize for that. I'm using my phone as a Wi-Fi tonight. Got to switch it up on it from time to time. But thank you so much. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time, 10 a.m. Eastern New York time. Have your questions ready for the podcast. All right. 11 a.m. Eastern New York time. We'll have our Shabbat school for the children. 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, sisters, women's meeting. We hope to see you there, or well, my wife hopes to see you there. I'm not part of the women's meeting because I'm not a woman. And then on Sunday, ministerial prayer at 7 a.m. Eastern New York time. We'll have our live session at 8 a.m. Eastern New York time on Sunday, and then 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time, we'll be with Minister Elisha for When Life Happens. All right, thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom to you if you use Saturday as your Shabbat. If you're going off the Hebrew calendar, Halavai Shalom. And we look forward to talking to you guys very soon. Thank you again. We appreciate you. We honor your time. And we look forward to talking to you soon. We once again give all praise and honor to the Most High. We give all praise and honor to him for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, or website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter Ed, Bloom and Flourish. She is a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. Thank you all for all that you do. Appreciate you. As always, it's been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being the voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again, please remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat Shalom. Today's shirt of the month is elderberry. All right, peace, family. Talk to you soon.